Now to our Sunday specials. The projected food insecurity by FAO, WFP and other international agencies seems to already be rearing its ugly head among children in the IDP camp in Bama, Borno State, and the consequences are grave. Many of them are already suffering, while some are dying from malnutrition and extreme dehydration. TVC News' Moyo Thomas was in Bama and filed this report.
This is the aerial view of the GSS IDP camp in Bama, Borno State. About 70 kilometers from the state capital, Maiduguri. The camp is home to about 97,000 IDPs affected by the protracted conflict in the northeast. It was originally built to accommodate 25,000 displaced persons. This has stretched not just the facilities in the camp, but also the resources. Most affected is food. As most of the IDPs in camp rely solely on food rations by the UN's World Food Programme. The ration now has to be shared amongst almost 100,000 people. This is even worsened by the fact that many of them cannot be economically productive. The reason for this is obvious. After about 13 years of living in unstable conditions, the means of livelihood of these has been greatly impacted. They now have to survive by selling small items to keep themselves going. Ironically, some still practice the trade of producing farm implements, which used to be their stock in trade. But with the insurgency, they no longer have a home, let alone a farmland. Modu Modube, a father of 5, tells me his story. He used to have a vast farmland in Tafana, which earned him close to $500,000 naira annually. He fled for his dear life when the insurgency broke out. All he does now is sell kola nuts. A stash like this could take him 5 days to sell, after which he makes a paltry 500 naira. He says he relies on the food rations from the WFP to feed his family. All these able-bodied men and thousands of others can no longer fend for themselves due to the security crisis in the region. This is further compounded by impact of climate change, as thousands have also been displaced to heavy floods. The loss of productivity among these men can only be imagined in the context of the food insecurity currently challenging Nigeria. This hydra-headed impact is not only felt on the economic side, but also on health and well-being. Malnutrition and extreme weather conditions have caused severe dehydration. While there are about 30 water points in the camp, it is by no means enough to meet the needs of almost 100,000 people here. This has caused acute water shortage. Long queues like this is a regular sight at every water pump, with women jostling to fill their cans and quench the thirst of their children. A visit to the IRC Stabilization Center in Bama gave the real picture. Children suffering from severe malnutrition. Nurses and midwives struggling to save the life of a child, and finding the baby's vein for an IV line became Herculean. The mother, close to tears, could not stand the pain of the child. The baby's mother, Zara Modu, has 2 other children she must feed. She relies only on the food supplies from the UN. We also met Ali Ghana at the center. She's a single mother of twin boys. One of them started showing symptoms about 2 weeks prior, but she relied on a medication she got from a drugstore. She started the self-medication until she said she almost lost her baby before she ran to the center for medical help. She is one of the people returned from the Hajj camp in Maiduguri back to Bama camp. She is therefore not enrolled in the WFP food rations. She relies only on food given to her by friends at the camp. She says she could go days without feeding when no one gives her food, and would be left only to breastfeed her twins. But it is apparent a mother can only produce milk for children when she is herself fed well. This has greatly affected her 10-month-old twins, as one of them suffers from malnutrition. The midwife says it is a daily battle to save the lives of children affected by malnutrition. In the last week alone, 3 infant deaths were recorded in the center.
In a day, sometimes we have 4 cases, 5 cases. We can even have up to 9 cases according to how the conditions of the weather. You see how the weather is hot. So in a month, if we are calculating, it is more than 100 cases we will have, because sometimes we discharge 2, another 4 will come in, because even though sometimes you tell the mother to feed them, in your own presence, she will not feed. They say the baby will not eat, that it will vomit. So in that case, even now while we have to force and pass the NG tube, we find out that the milk that's supposed to give him in the morning, she did not give it. It got spoiled. So which means this boy is being denied of the milk that he's supposed to get, and which make him to become like this worse again. If not, yesterday we rotated him, but now he's getting down because no food, nothing. So we are forced. The health mothers say we should pass NG tube so that themselves will feed him by themselves. That is why we pass the NG tube now, to feed him by ourselves and know whether he's eating or not. So most of the cases, the malnutrition is come from the not eating. Maybe they pass through, they vomit. The parents will say, no, he cannot eat, he's vomiting, so they stop giving anything.
The challenge remains how to overcome these life-threatening issues. Experts project 2023 will have some lean seasons, which means about 25.3 million people would face acute food insecurity, according to FAO. ECOWAS puts this figure at 64 million Nigerians, and that 16.5 million children under the age of 5 may suffer acute malnutrition. It is important for all stakeholders, the humanitarian agencies, government and philanthropists, to devise and implement an intervention approach to ending this crisis in order to keep the smiles on the faces of these future giants. More than 5 years in this camp, the story seems not to have changed. From food insecurity to malnutrition, poor health, inadequate living conditions. This is despite government and international agencies' intervention. One then wonders, what is the future of these children, especially in contributing their quota to national development? Moya Thomas, TVC News, Bama.